Hello folks, it's Gordon here, hope all is well with you. Gloomy old morning, again here in South London. And something that's familiar with my videos lately is I'm going back to the past for a couple of stories, and I'm talking about art for a couple of stories as well. Here we go. 15th of October today, as I'm recording this video. Now, 15th of October back in 1989, so that's 36 years ago, I was on honeymoon in St Ives down in Cornwall, having been married the previous day. And when we were down there, we bought a painting, an original painting by an artist called Donald MacLeod. Now, I'm presuming he's Scottish. Donald MacLeod, beautiful Scottish name, and that is how everyone talks up in Scotland. Right? Donald MacLeod, got to be Scottish. It's probably not, it's probably from London. Donald MacLeod. We bought a painting, an original painting, and it was in one of the galleries on the harbour down in St Ives. An old world evening light, big sail ships in the background, the candle lights in the windows. So there was a lot of colour in the painting, a lot of expression, and a lot of imagination invoked by the scene. Which is fascinating for me, because when I got back into art these last few years, I'm talking about why I do my art at all. I've boiled it down to 3 words: colour, expression and imagination. And something else I remember from buying that painting 36 years ago was that it was done in oil, and there was texture in the, I don't know why I'm doing that because the palette knife, there was texture in the painting as well. So I'm not married anymore, and I don't have the painting anymore. But I do remember buying it. And it's, as far as I can remember, the only original painting I've ever bought in my life. Now, I sell my paintings. I sell the original paintings. If you want to buy an original painting, then at the moment I tend to charge, I do charge £75, including shipping. And that's it for an original painting, which even I know is way undercharged. And there are 1 or 2 of my original paintings that I wouldn't sell yet, for example, I don't know what I'm saying, for example, that I wouldn't sell yet because I think I might want to take better pictures for licensing purposes, etc., etc. Now, some artist marketing coaches and some artists will only sell originals, or they won't sell prints until they've sold the original. Some other artists / marketing coaches say, oh no, only sell prints, don't bother with originals at all. So there are lots of different ways to market your art, and of course you can go and buy a print of my art. You could buy a canvas print, that is a canvas print on a box canvas. You could buy a card print, that's a card print, for example. You could buy a print in a frame like that, and so on and so on and so on. There's lots of ways of buying my art in print form as well as the originals. Or you could win a print. You could enter the free monthly print prize beautiful lucky draw over at gordonbryanart.com. So have you ever bought an original painting? See, I don't think it, in a way I think, well, that's weird. I've only ever bought 1 original painting in my life on honeymoon 35 years ago to mark our marriage and honeymoon and to savour throughout the years. But in another respect, to me, I don't think that's original, because it's never really occurred to me to buy original paintings. So have you ever bought an original painting? I'd be interesting. Or have you bought loads of them? I'm always interested to see what other people are like when it comes to buying art. Now, the second story from the past that I want to talk about today, to do with art, is inspiration in the form of a chap called Tony Hart. Now, a lot of UK viewers of a certain age might be watching this thinking, Tony Hart. Well, it's his birthday today. Tony Hart was born on the 15th of October, 1925. So he would have been 100 years old, Tony Hart today. Born in Maidstone in Kent. Now, was he an inspiration to me? I guess so. Not particularly from his art, but his style. Tony Hart was on television in the 70s and into the 80s, doing art and encouraging people to do art. Softly, well-spoken, middle-aged. He was in his 50s back then. Smiley, gentle, friendly, sort of warm and cuddly television to do with art. And he would do his art and explain what he was doing about it, how he was doing it, the materials he was using. He would explain, little lines, you can put colour here. And he did a show called Vision On. And one of the elements of Vision On was the gallery, where viewers could send in their artwork. And they would have a section of the show where the camera would pan across this artwork, and it would have the name and the age, maybe the town that they were from, of people who'd sent in their artwork. Beautiful. And it would have music behind it in the background. Maybe UK viewers of a certain age might be humming the Vision On tune to themselves, which I'm not going to sing for you. I'm tempted to, but I'm not going to. I nearly launched into it then. Managed to stop myself. So yeah, do you remember Tony Hart? And I'm not sure, is there a programme on television at the moment, UK television, which talks about art, has an artist doing their art and explaining what they're doing and then encouraging others to do it? You can find lots of this stuff on social media now, on YouTube and Facebook. So you don't have to have it on television. You can go and search it out if that's what you want to see. I'd be interested to know if you remember Tony Hart, or who do you think of as inspiration for art? Because as well as Tony Hart, in the States you would have had Bob Ross. So a lot of people in the States, or maybe the UK as well, will know who Bob Ross is. Well, Tony Hart was sort of our version of Bob Ross. But another person I remember to do with art on television in my childhood was called Nancy Kaminsky. She had a television show called Paint Along with Nancy. And I will mention Nancy Kaminsky to people, and then people say, who? Even people of my age range, so I would expect to fully know who Nancy Kaminsky was, will say, who? And Nancy Kaminsky was from New York. Quite a fierce woman in her style. And again, she would do oil painting. She would grid it out, quite fierce with her style. Maybe a bit more New Yorkish than Tony Hart, you could say. So yeah, Paint Along with Nancy. Oh, as well as Vision On and Take Heart. So have you heard of Tony Hart? Have you heard of Nancy Kaminsky? Have you ever bought any artwork, original paintings? That's 3 questions I'd love to hear your answers to. You had my answers. I'd love to hear your answers. Tony Hart. Happy 100th birthday, Tony Hart. Would have had a telegram from the King today, because it's tradition over here that you get a telegram from, used to be the Queen, obviously. Now it's the King on your 100th birthday. Does that still happen? Well, I don't know about telegram. Maybe people get a card nowadays. Does the King still do it? I presume so. But Tony Hart passed away many years ago now. Okay, happy 100th birthday, Tony Hart. Let me have your answer to those 3 questions. Signing off for now. Wishing you as ever health and happiness. And I'll speak to you again soon.